Style. Style is the answer to everything.
Now, it is very important to actually note that when you're writing news, there's so many things that you have to take into consideration before you actually distribute your news. I know there's always a rush to be the first person that distributes a certain type of content that might be new to society, so that you're the person that everybody is referencing to. However, it is very important, like I said, to actually look into some of the things that actually determine whether something is newsworthy or not. So we actually have approximately 6 determinants of news. So the first one is timeliness. So when you're writing news, it is very important to make sure that the information that you're actually passing out to the general public is new, is timely, you know what I mean? And if it's not timely, at least it has to be something that nobody knows about or something that nobody has ever heard about. So that's the first determinant. So if information is something that happened a long time ago and people actually know that it happened, it's actually considered as stale. So if you publish something that everybody knows about or something that is not in that specific timeline in which you posted that story, it's actually considered as stale, or in other words, rotten. So that's the first determinant, which is timeliness. The second one is impact. Actually, impact goes with a phrase, if it bleeds, it leads. Let's say, for instance, stories where people have died, right? The more number of people that have died, the more newsworthy a story is actually. And looking at things like how it affects the general public, right? If the information does affect the majority of the general public, then definitely it is of impact. That means it is a good story. So guys, the third determinant of news is actually considered as proximity. So proximity is definitely is just the distance in which that event has taken place. Let's say, for instance, if people, this is Zambia, right? If let's say 5 people have died in a road accident in Malawi, it won't really much be something of interest for somebody who is in Zambia. So if something that if an event has happened, right, and it's near the community or the public or your targeted audience, then it makes very good news. And if it's very far and doesn't affect the public or your targeted audience, then it's definitely not newsworthy. So the fourth determinant of news is actually known as prominence. So this refers to people that are actually important in society. If somebody is important in society, whatever thing they do that actually, because most of the things that important people do in society does have an impact on the majority of the society, so it makes it newsworthy. Hence the reason why news about the president going to America, having some deals with the American president is actually considered more newsworthy than let's say the former president having an interaction with the members of his party, you know what I mean? So the more important a person is, the more what they do is considered as newsworthy. And then the other one is human interest. So it is very important to actually consider the interest of the public or the audience that you're actually delivering your news to. Honestly, in my own opinion, I think human interest stories are the ones that actually get the most attention when it comes to the type of stories that you bring in. And if you're the kind of person that loves attention, you like bringing people's emotions out, then looking for stories that are of human interest is definitely something that you should do. So those are the 5 determinants of news. In case you want to write a news story, in case you want to make a video about a news, or a video about an event, rather, not a news, that's wrong English, a video about an event, then definitely you have to look into these 5 things, and if they do fit, then definitely your story has to be something that everybody is definitely going to look out for. And other than that, I think most stories, some stories don't have all the determinants of news. If a story has one determinant, then it's good. So now that that has been said, let's get into another segment where we actually get to where I get to share some of the terms that are actually used in news writing. Let's start with the first one, which is a lead or a lead. It's spelled as L-E-D-E or L-E-A-D. These two spellings are actually correct. So a lead is the first sentence of a hard news story, and it does summarize what the entire story actually is talking about. So a lead rather is a very important part of the story. It's the most important part of the story because then it attracts people to your story. If your lead is good enough, people are going to be interested to read exactly what you've written. Alright, so the second term that we're going to define today is a beat. So a beat is more like a specialization, right? Let's say, for instance, I am under the entertainment desk under Lusaka Star. So my beat is entertainment. So what I report on is based on entertainment. Somebody who is under the sports desk is going to be reporting issues that are under sports. That's what a beat is all about. It's about specialization. So actually, journalists, yes, do get specialized in different beats. There's hard news, there's feature writing, there's sports, there's entertainment, and there are actually a whole lot of desks that you can get yourself specialized in based on your interest, and it helps you develop your skills in that particular field, and it just, makes you grow. It helps you grow as you write stories. Alright, so the third term that we're going to be defining today is a source. So what is a source in news? When we're talking about a source in news, we're talking about somebody that gives you information about a particular event. Let's say, for instance, you go to an accident scene, right? And then you start interacting with people. Those people that give you that information about what happened for the accident to actually take place are your sources. So sources give you information of a particular story. And now that we've talked about sources, we're going to talk about attribution. It is very important to actually attribute these sources. Attribution is basically giving credit to the source of information. So if somebody gives you information, let's say I give you my information, right, and say, okay, what happened is that bus took a wrong turn and then it hit in that pole. So when you're attributing me into your story, you're going to say, Kondanani Sisi, a witness said that bus made a wrong turn and hit into the pole. So that's how you credit somebody. Also during defamation cases, right, when a source says something that might or might not be true and you get sued, or your company gets sued for actually defamation of character, it draws the attention to the person that said it's actually let me say it's it saves you from defamation, to say the least. It actually puts the case more on the person that said whatever was said during the news story, and you're saved as a journalist. Though the ethics of journalism strongly disagree with that, and that's something that we're going to look into. The last word that we're going to be defining today is a byline. A byline is a line that is separated and it indicates the writer of the story. It is always important to have a byline because then it shows who exactly wrote a particular story and you give them credit in that way. Alright, that's it for today. We've actually looked at what news is all about, the determinants of news, and some definitions. So for next time, I'm actually going to dive in deep and then get to give you a lecture on the structure of news and how to actually write the news. But before I actually teach you that, I'm going to have a first segment that is going to talk about the ethics of a journalist, because I think it is very important to actually know the ethics before you get into writing. Journalism and writing news story is it's fun, but it has a lot of risks to it, legal risks to it, because then we have cases like seditious libel, we have cases like defamation, and you want to protect yourself against such cases. Therefore, it is very important to look at ethics and the laws that govern the practice of journalism. So until next time, bye.